Hoi guys, hoi guys. Oh, I need lip gloss, right? Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Hoi teardrop! Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Falafel React. Thank you so much for being here on this channel and really in life. I am a student. I'm a student of life. I like to learn. I believe in learning. I always have a writing utensil with me. I always have a book to write down things that people in my comments or in my chat like to inform me about because I love learning. I went to school. I was not good in school. I was actually really bad in school, like K through 12. I was like bad, like intellectually and behaviorally. I don't know where am I going with this. But post school, like in college, I loved school. I loved learning. I loved reading. I got 3 degrees. I went to grad school, and I'm in a job where I'm constantly learning. And so part of my continuing education or like my professional development, because I have like multiple jobs and like YouTube, right, is like one of my jobs now. And as with any job, I take continuing education very seriously, professional development, attending conferences. All of that's really important to me because I think that in whatever field you're in, you need to grow. You can't just stagnate. Like if there's any new research, if there are just like to commute, like to learn from colleagues in your field, like that's one thing. But you also want to learn from experts that are insiders. And so I thought it would be a really good opportunity for me to kind of go through some pre-conference materials, and by that I mean Foodie Beauty's community tab post, because I feel like she has a lot to teach me and I'm open to learning. I'm receptive. I think as I've gotten older, I've become a better student, and I'm open to learning from all kinds of people. And so I right now I'm reviewing the pre-conference materials on her posts tab on her YouTube, but I thought we'd do it together because I feel like some of you guys like are also kind of like me in that way, like you like learning. Yeah, so you guys, let's do this together. Let's just see how it goes. So I hope this should be large enough for you guys to read. So she has been uploading the pre-conference materials throughout the day. When is the ultimate conference? When is the date? Where is it located? What field of study is it? I have no idea. I don't know. I've not signed up. I've not even applied for funding. I was kind of thinking that the GoFundMe would maybe cover some of the attendees' fees. I mean, at least the conference fees, right? Because conference fees, depending on like what area of conference or what type of conference you're going to, it can be hundreds. I'm talking $500 plus. So maybe, you know, she'll use her GoFundMe for that. I'm not entirely sure, but anyways, all throughout the day, she's been trickling out the pre-conference materials. I'm a little bit confused because I thought it would just be delivered as one packet. But you know what? I mean, if she's leading the conference, right? She's organizing. It's a one-man show. It's a one gal. Well, it's a two-gal show because it's her and her co-speaker Salah. So I'm just interested, you guys. I'm just interested. So let's like maybe go through the materials as they were distributed. I think that following it, like there's something to be said about following the release of materials chronologically, right? So I don't know. So I think it's valuable to actually start from 2 days ago because I have never been to a conference where the materials that were given to me beforehand included a selfie of the presenter. But I don't know. I think there's something postmodern maybe about this. Because when I think of going to a conference, I think of the things I'm going to hear, mainly right the information that I will like hear and how I can learn from that and improve from that. And I never thought about just like a photo, like not a bio picture, but like just a photo out of context of one of two speakers at the conference. And I don't know, I feel like there's something nuanced here that is going over my head because I'm constantly learning because I'm dumb. So like like a lot of the stuff that I learn, it like doesn't stick. And I'm also just like stupid. So I'm like always trying to learn. So I'm sure there's something in here that like I'm just not seeing, but it's fascinating, really. Yeah. I feel like I've seen images of this presenter before and they've never looked like this. So that's also interesting to me, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so after the photo, the first conference material we received, this was a little confusing to me because like I said, at least the conferences I've been to, I just, this is not the kind of material I'm used to. I'm used to it like being a mixture of like the pre like they'll send the slideshow, the PowerPoints beforehand. They'll send information about all the speakers, where they studied, where they went to school, where they're working right now, where they have worked, any of their research, and they'll include like, like primary resources like their study or whatever. But this was very interesting to me. This was just 2 sentences. So I think what Foodie Beauty is doing here, I think it's something postmodern. It's new. It's not been seen before. It's not been done before. I think there's a reliance on brevity here, and I think that's really powerful. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it. 23 hours ago, she said, some losers reported the GoFundMe. So hold off on donations until we appeal and answer their questions. You people reporting are so pathetic and have no lives whatsoever. LMAO. Okay, I'm apologize because I like reenacted the LMAO before it got to it, but yeah, so apologies for that. This is really concerning to me because I was under the impression that the GoFundMe was going to fund, like I mentioned, the conference fees, the flights, the hotel. I mean, maybe not the flights and the hotels, but at least, the conference fee, the admissions. So this is very concerning to me. I'm also very confused because this is meta right now, right? So a pre-conference material write-up. This seems to not have anything to do with what she's going to talk about in the conference. It's more so that no one may be able to attend the conference, which I'm concerned about. But I also a little bit feel hurt because she's saying you people reporting. So like she's saying you, right? Like you. I feel grouped into this you. Even though I didn't report anyone, I don't know. I feel hurt, maybe. I feel like my expertise is not valued. I mean, I know I'm not presenting, but I am attending this conference as a colleague, as someone in this area of work. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Let's scroll up. Okay. Oh, interesting. This was edited. Okay. I mean, I think it's really powerful when an expert in their field can refer back to their studies and say, hey, this is where I messed up, and they can alter that. So kudos to researcher Foodie Beauty. I'll go ahead and read it. Where are the receipts for? I can't see that word, so I'm not going to read it out. Where are the receipts for? First off, anyone who didn't give a dime can shut the F up. Second, she's in school. I've posted receipts of her in school. The money was given to her parents. I'm not posting receipts of how much they paid for school, transport, etc. so that her school can be doxxed. And so that leech reaction shit channels can make content about it even more. It is my channel and she is family, and I want to post. And if I want to post a pic update with her parents' permission, I can do what I want. Don't like the attitude of this post? Oh well. Foodie Beauty and insert girl's name is coming back soon. Haters have half brains, I swear. 1 minute they demand receipts on insert the girl's name, and the next they freak if I post an update of her in school. Now that is the last of it I will address. I raised money for insert the girl's name, special private school for her clothes, transport, and help with her family. Thank you to the kind people for making a difference in her and her family's lives. I posted proof she was in school. If that's not good enough, that's too bad. And if you think for a second we would scam literal family, we are with almost every day. You are sick in the head and you know what else you can do? Wait, what? You are sick in the head and you know what else you can do? I don't know. Anyway, I've addressed this enough, so that's it. Moving on. People freaking over $1,000 to help a disabled child and her family are sick. Stay away from me, FFS. Okay. Like I said before, I said I'm dumb. So, you're getting dumb. So I'm also having a hard time seeing because I couldn't read that name that kept coming up. Yeah, this is really interesting. This is very fascinating to me on a lot of different levels. Again, I feel like I'm getting cussed out. I feel like I'm getting yelled, and there must be, right? There must be reason behind this. Why am I getting yelled at before attending this conference? I'm not sure. And also, why is she fixated on a little girl? Why is she insistent on putting a child online? I think maybe what this is a difficulty of reckoning with oneself. I think that's what expert in the field Foodie Beauty is trying to demonstrate here, is an example of a pattern of speech that points towards a shrunken brain, emotional instability, severe emotional instability, emotional stuntedness, and an inability to take feedback and sit with it and process it, and perhaps not share thoughts on said feedback. And I think she's doing this excellently in a lot of ways. First of all, the sentence structure is nonsensical. Having said that, I am dumb though, so just keep that in mind. The use of punctuation is really powerful, I think. Also, these little STFUs, the FFS, I'm absolutely living for that. And the constant reusing of a minor's name and the misspelling of it in one instance. There's something really, there's like an intellectual subtlety in this. And I just really appreciate, the art of this, because I feel like you can talk about what's an inappropriate way to showcase yourself online. You can give it, examples and say, like, in this situation or in that situation, but living it and embodying that which you are trying to demonstrate takes us to a completely different level. And so this is incredible to me. Now, if we look further up, we have yet another. Let's see how long this is. Okay, this is a little shorter. Okay, so the variety of lengths. If you look at the timestamps of posting, it's also very interesting to me that, like I said before, they're not releasing all of the scholarly materials at once. They're kind of like phasing it out. They're like teasing us a little with the material. It does show a hyperfixation on the matter. It does show a lack of work and home boundaries because it keeps getting spit out. It's not in one, time slot. So let's see what she says here. She says, they don't sound like they're breaking up. What exactly do you want from us? Is there a single universal comportment for when people decide to separate? Do we need to scream and shout and hate one another? I've said numerous times that it is an amicable separation. We are not separating because we fight too much or don't love each other. It's because the bees is calling, and I want a Villa 2.0 arc. We want different things in life. I absolutely love this. I personally prefer this to the previous one because with a lot less words, she was able to convey a lot more. And now I know what the conference is about. This is a Beezer focused conference that will cover all of the new studies emerging about the concept of beesing, the ontology of beesing, which we now understand what she was doing in her previous post. She was trying to embody the beesation of it all. So I feel like I got a lot more from this. Villa 2.0 era, I'm going to insert a photo that over here that I feel like captures the Villa 1.0 era, just so that we can look at it, think about it, let it sit with us, and just, wow, so she wants a repeat of this. No, I mean, listen, that's very interesting to me. I'm very curious as to how the second iteration of this will look like. And again, I would say that this one shows a seemingly unhealthy fixation with me, with the attendees, with the audience, because she's quoting something I didn't say. I didn't say that they don't sound like they're breaking up. I believe what I said was, they were never actually married. I believe what I said was that it was a sham marriage because there was no dowry and no payment promised upon divorce, which is what happens in a real Islamic contract marriage, a mahr and a mu'akhar. I believe that's what I said. I don't think I would have said that they sound like they're breaking up if I didn't even think they were actually together. But I do believe that as co-coordinators, co-leaders, co-presenters, that they are in together on the scamathon, the scamation of it all, the scam of it all, 100%. So let's look further up. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, we're referencing a secondary source. Okay. This was 5 hours ago. So, okay. So she posted 23 hours ago, and then 12 hours later, she put something else. And then 1 hour after that, she put something else. And then she took a nap, 6 hours, and then she put something else. This is going to be very fascinating to me. Okay, so to clarify, I double checked with PayPal and I Googled it also. And I am allowed to use PayPal and have people send me money to it. I just can't do the fundraiser, but that's okay. We are awaiting on the GoFundMe. But in the meantime, if you want to contribute to getting me home sooner, you can do so here. I want to thank you all so much for those of you who helped. It's only been 3 days since I started trying to raise help to move back, and I am at $1,700. There's $370 in GoFundMe frozen while they check into the fundraiser, which they do when people report over and over because they are sad creatures. So if that goes through, I'll have $2,000. So we are only $8K away from the $10K needed. Thank you to those who helped. I will not forget you, EXO. And then this is a screenshot of a Google AI generated response to her question. Her question in the Google search box begins with, "Can I receive money from ... And the answer says, yes, you can receive money via PayPal while in Syria as a Canadian traveler, as long as the sender can send money to you and you have a Canadian PayPal account. I am very fascinated by this because, again, this is an embodying of, it's not showing an example, right? We have this concept of like show, don't tell. This is not even showing, this is embodying. We are often told as researchers, as academics, to not rely on AI, certainly not now. And her utilizing one of the most basic AI tools to give her an answer to an issue that crosses financial, political, geographical lines is a choice. It's a choice that embodies stupidity, an inability to understand research methods, an inability to be professional. And I'm even more concerned now than I was before because she was yelling at me before, and now she's thanking me for donating, but I didn't donate. And then she said I'm a sad loser because I reported the GoFundMe, but I didn't even do that. So I feel emotionally beat around. I feel unstable. I feel like I don't really know what to think because I thought I was welcome at this conference, and now I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe I'm not. I'm also confused as to why it took her so long to clarify this. Like, if the only way you clarified was to type the question into Google without using Boolean logic, just inputting the question with the question word, if that was the only method of clarifying, why had you not just done that before? What changed? How did you... It seems like a simple thing to have clarified 2 days ago. Wow, $2,000. Wow. Okay. So we have participants in the grift, in the scamation. Okay, victims of the scamation. Okay, interesting. Moving along. 4 hours after that, we have another. Oh, edited. Interesting. Okay. Newsflash, morons who are still obsessing about matters that are not their business. I am a traveling Canadian because I am a Canadian citizen. As a citizen, I am allowed to travel as long as I want to anywhere in the world and still keep my Canadian status. I also have ties to Canada still. So yes, legally, I am Canadian. I am also soon returning, so I only spent a couple of months here so far since my last visit. But nice try. Citizens and permanent residents are different also. I am a citizen, therefore I am allowed to use services such as PayPal while traveling because it is a Canadian account. I am in Syria on extended visa. It doesn't matter if I called where I'm staying our house. There are no legal ties making this true for me. I stay here while I am here, and that is all. Hope this sinks into your vapid brains. Ugh. I also don't obtain my money from any system in Syria. I get it from Beirut, which does not have sanctions. Syria does for such matters. I am just so tired of these idiots. And again, it shows a Google AI generated response. Well, some of this stuff is news to me. For example, I believe that I acknowledged earlier I was dumb and I didn't know I was also an idiot. So I will also be adding that vernacular. Vapid brain. I also, yeah, I wasn't aware. But now that I am aware, I will obviously be upfront about it. I'm a dumb, idiot, vapid-brained individual. Having said that, I just like to give that disclaimer, you know? But having said all of that, this is another example of embodying. And I think what she's embodying here is a little switcheroo, a little 180, because the tenor of this is very oppositional. It contrasts starkly to where she was a year ago, where she was like, the West this, the West that, the West, like trying to like shit on the West, because from her brain, she, in the character that she's embodying, she's only able to understand life in binaries and like the dichotomy of like West and East. And she was in her era of like hating on the West. I hate using those terms, but she was in her era of like hating on the West. Like everything's better in the East. Insert Oriental music. She was like in that era. Now that she needs to benefit by way of money, by way of scammation, she's like, I'm Canadian. How many times did she use Canadian? Canadian. Canadian. Canada. Canadian. Canadian. That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm still not sure exactly where she's from. But yeah, it does seem like she's consulted legal counsel. The legal counsel being this Google AI generated response. Also anytime you use the word legal, it increases your aura points by approximately 5 million. So, I mean, I'm dumb and an idiot and I have a vapid brain, but she used the word legal. So listen, she's running this whole show. She's running this whole conference. Okay. The last thing I just want to highlight, and I thought it was the last thing, but something's been recently added. Wow. Okay. I apologize. But the last thing I want to highlight here is this is really, and like I said, I think the theme of the conference is beezing, like embodying beezing, and not just using like pulling examples in the abstract. I think it's embodying. And here she says, I also don't obtain my money from any system in Syria, which I think shows how delicately she is able to utilize word choice, because the little girl with Down syndrome that she stole money from is actually not a system. That's a human being. So this seems to be accurate. She has not obtained money from any system in Syria. She's only obtained it from the exploitation of a 9-year-old girl with Down syndrome who she bought online and exploited her disability, and allowed for very obscene, inappropriate comments to run through the chat because it came with a monetary value. We also know that very soon after she took that money, went to Doha, Qatar for a week and spent that money and gorged on it. It was a metaphor for consumerism and to contrast how much food some people have while others are dying of starvation. So that was another postmodern performance piece. But yeah, those are my thoughts about this post. And within 20 minutes after this was posted, wow. I mean, I respect scholars that reference other scholars. And so far, we've seen the Google AI scholar reference. And now this is the auto-populated dictionary.com that appears in Google. So, I mean, she's acknowledging the greats that came before her. Respect, all right? Nothing but respect for me on this. Now, let's read this. Sorry, but most of gorlworld needs this also. The very definition of scam. If people send me money to move to Canada and I keep their money and don't move to Canada, then yes, that would be a scam. But I am still moving to Canada. So until that happens, that I don't, shh. I said, shh. Even if something happens and I don't move, which will not happen, all of the money will be refunded. You can't preemptively call something a scam when the plan hasn't even happened. Oh. Garbage juice people. And then we have the dictionary definition of scam. A dishonest scheme to gain money or possessions from someone fraudulently, especially a complex or prolonged one. Synonyms include fraud and swindle. Wow, this one, I think this one takes the cake. This one absolutely takes the cake. So I think I have this conference figured out. It's the Beezer Collective, aimed at gorlworld. So I feel like maybe only officially sanctioned members of gorlworld will be allowed to enter and will have their conference fees attending. So I'm not sure. I probably won't get funding for this conference, so I'll just have to ask some of my other colleagues and just see if they thought it was worth it, because hopefully this is annual and I can go next year. So I think I figured that part out. It's a little bit disappointing, but I mean, what can you do? Like, I'm still, like, I'm not entry level in my field, but I'm like mid, you know, like I'm mid career. So even that, maybe not even mid career. She's also defining scam, and she feels like what she's embodying is okay, that it's right, and that it only qualifies as a scam if she doesn't follow through on what happens. What's interesting to me here is that there's no acknowledgement of a pattern of scams. There's no acknowledgement of the many scams, the many TOS violations that this character has done over the years on YouTube. There's no acknowledgement of all the times where she lied to the audience and it was attached to a monetary value. Even as of recently, as I mentioned, that little girl, what was scammed, and just the whiplash of opening the PayPal, not doing any research, but saying, no, I talked to someone from there. They actually called me and they said it was okay. And then the whiplash of saying, no, I clarified again and it's shut, but now it's open again, but then it's shut. And then I need to GoFundMe, and then allowing her friend Pete to get doxxed for the GoFundMe, and then shutting it down, and then, asking people to watch ads all the way through to like further the scam, and then not showing receipts. And this is not the first time she's not showing receipts. So it's just a choice to leave that out. Yeah. And I'm also curious as to why she's looking up this word. Did she have to look it up to verify if she was doing it or not? Which, again, I always respect theorists, scholars, academics that reference other thinkers, that don't just rely on their own work, and that have the ability to go back and edit a post. This was not edited, but the prior ones were. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. I'm most fascinated by the hashtag garbage juice people. I once again feel slighted. I feel like this is directed towards me, like I am garbage juice people. I was unaware that there's a peoples called garbage juice. And if there are people, then all people deserve dignity and respect. And so she perhaps means this in a negative way, but so long as I have a community of people, then I'm okay. I just need a community and I'll be happy. So I guess I'm also part of the garbage juice people. And I should look into fraud and swindle, although anytime I look up that word, this image pops up. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure that part out. I'm just confused about that. But again, I am dumb and idiot. I have a vapid brain and I'm part of the garbage juice people. So I will work on that. I am really disappointed. I was very excited about attending this conference. I am a lifelong learner. I believe in spending the rest of your life asking big questions, asking small questions, exploration, travel, not just through the world, but through books, through exploring people's memories, through talking to people, through learning languages, through listening, being a very, very good listener, being an active listener. And I feel let down by this. But if anyone else attends this conference, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys learn. And I will see you guys in the next conference breakdown. Bye.